We will now have this leadership keynote on a virtual mode, modernizing your enterprise software. And our keynote speaker is Mr. Jan Baan. He's the founder of Baan Company, Cordys Vanenburg, and Chairman Vanenburg Group, Netherlands. So he will be with us here virtually to speak to us on modernizing your enterprise software. Mr. Jan Baan will be here with us shortly on the virtual mode, and he will be speaking on modernizing your enterprise software. We also have a wonderful leadership keynote on accelerating digital transformation with contemporary technologies. And then we will have a motivational session, which is embracing uncertainty and overcoming challenges. And the keynote speaker will be Mr. Satyarup Siddhanta, renowned Indian mountaineer and storyteller. And so here we have the session by Mr. Jan Baan. He's the keynote speaker for modernizing your enterprise software.
Yeah, the floor is for me.
Yes, sir. You can speak. We're waiting for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Warm welcome to you, Mr. Jan Baan.
Thanks. Nice meeting you all. And thanks for presenting this to you. With you my entrepreneurial journey. I started in 1978 building ERP solutions with Baan Company. And one of my biggest success was being early bird in India. I built my software factory in 1987 in India, and it was a propelling element for Baan Company. We decided to bring all our intellectual property and everything to India, where most times you see that people going to India, they do more more have the master in the rest of the world, and the slave in India. We did the opposite way, and we saw that it was extremely effective for us because all our resources in India helped us to propel our solution. In 1993, we accepted a venture capital investment from Jan Atlantic Partners, and that all helped us to go to America, and we are extremely successful, especially by 1994, winning the most precious deal. That was the Boeing deal. 40,000 users of the Boeing company moved from mainframes to Unix solutions, and we were able to win that from Oracle and also from SAP, and that was even propelling Baan tremendous. And a year later, we did our IPO in America and became a unicorn. And in 1998, after 20 years, I decided to give over my CEO role to also another colleague, because I felt a little, even what we did became obsolete, because everything we built was built before the internet was there. And even I sold some shares, and I invested $100 million even in 1999 in WebEx and Top Tier, two leading internet companies. And I saw that a little in the slipstream of Baan Company. But after, even in 99, I sold all my Baan shares because I came to the solution. I should burn my ships and focusing on what we call the real enterprise application cloud, business process management. Instead of silos, in Baan, we had all these silos and becoming leader. No, so even in 2000, Infor acquired Baan Company, and still the Baan products are still leading in the Infor portfolio. But I focused from Unix solutions even to what we called, with even our experience on the internet in Cordys, starting from scratch with BPM. And we built that quite interesting to bring all those resources together end to end. And then we moved further with the Cordys Process Factory, where we focus on low code, no code, building more what we say the workflow jobs. No. And that was quite successful. And we had one big company, a customer, a leading automotive company with more than 100,000 employees, who adopted this technology for a Lotus Notice killer and replacing this one. But my board was seeing this too much as disruptive in Cordys. And a few years later, in 2009, I acquired this Cordys Process Factory private with the money I made from here. And I went in my third wave what we called from systems of record to systems of differentiation, I moved to system of innovation. And that helped us real where we are today with building products and even linking ERP together. That means leading for purpose was disruptive innovation, always with the newest technology wave. Rebuild your logic. Now, Baan on Unix, Cordys, an enterprise cloud platform, but for end-to-end business. And in Vanenburg, we built what we called an application development accelerator for one version of the truth and avoiding vendor lock-in. Now, I wrote for me an autobiography, my 3 books, and you can, as a gift from me, you can download this one, and you will see the slides. The 600 pages explaining these 3 waves, adopting always the newest technology. And what we did here, let me share it in. Early bird in India, in Hyderabad. First we moved in Bombay, 1987 in Mumbai, and then we went to Hyderabad where it was totally rocky, and we built one of the first campus, the Vanenburg campus, in Hyderabad. I built it with my private money, dealing with Sandro Mambunaidu, and I think it was a real, extremely successful Evo Baan company. A big campus, and we moved there. ERP. In 1998, Baan was one of the players, what Gartner mentioned, Bob's, Baan, Oracle, PeopleSoft, and SAP, the leaders in ERP. Gartner ranked SAP as the biggest, and Baan, I should say, as maybe the most innovative company, the best one. And we were real dealing in this world. And the founder of ERP, Lee Wiley, he wrote me last couple of months ago a letter because he invented the name ERP. Lee was very effective in IT in manufacturing by General Motors. He moved to IBM and then he became the CIO in Gartner. And he invented the name of ERP. I said, Jan, 33 years ago, when since I delivered a speech in Gartner's conference, creating the ERP framework, where it before was MRP2. Now, MRP was first MRP1 was material requirements planning, MRP2 manufacturing resource planning, and it moved to ERP. And now he mentioned ERP, although from all these MRP software executives I met, after this one, and they give me a nice compliment. You were the only one with a clear vision in the future. And he mentioned that I brought it even to complex business solutions. Now, we talked over ERP, but maybe the name E is a little misleading because ERP never became enterprise. It was maybe more entity. It was maybe more department. Enterprise, bringing all these processes together was real a problem. And that was the reason I moved further. Now, what was the problem with ERP? In end of the 90s, maybe McKinsey or Pricewaterhouse, all these, what we say strategy consultants became engaged with what we call business process re-engineering. That means if we re-engineer all our business processes, we can have a much better EBITDA. And what they did with business architects, they described the as it is situation and tried to build the to be situation. But they could do it only with off-the-shelf products. That means translation business to IT, you need still the help of the Baans or the SAPs and the Oracles, etc. And people are saying, okay, first what we need then an RFP, a request for proposal. We go to Waldorf and we hope that SAP is winning. And then you have a lot of services after, but then you start with 60,000 database tables. ERP became extremely complicated. But to the to-be situation, ERP has not a total fit. Even you have to start with customization. Now that means from this moment, you start first to install it and go to 100,000 parameters from the plain ERP version. Then you have to go to the to-be situation, and even then you bring a lot of what we called bespoke work. That means we are no longer able to implement a new version. We start with customization, and then we destroy everything. And it's a big problem today. It means you have a massive stuff, you do the customization, and then after 5 years, it takes longer than expected. Maybe you made it, but extremely costly. You pay a little amount for SAP for vanilla, but the implementation is very expensive for the system integrators and the customization. We made it on the end, but ERP became the mother of all complexity, in my opinion, therein. Now, and that was for me the reason to change and say, okay, what is then today the world of ERP? ERP stuck from the legacy in last century. And we have seen that IT increased tremendous. We have seen that the browser came in 1995. We had the Netscape, came with the browser, changing the world of the internet. And then after that, we have mobility. Apple, Google, Samsung brought the mobility. Then we moved off the world of social, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Then we have the Amazon effect. And it moved to cloud, where Salesforce was more leading in the cloud. And we moved to Google Cloud Technology, amazing to see what's going there. And big data was analyzed. And we've seen the consumerization of big data, even with TensorFlow tools like even what you can see today in Google, etc. And we moved to the Internet of Things. But the problem is, ERP could not follow. ERP stuck with the Y2K problems, and they moved to India, and hundreds of thousands of people were able to fix the Y2K problem for all those ERP systems. And then in this century, we were able to bring the old logic, rebuild it, and moved it in this world. But there is a big gap. There is a big gap because ERP had not fit for the internet and was built for logic before the internet was there. And there's a big gap with all this new technology. It's still what we've seen, traditional system integrators are doing it, obsolete 4GL, legacy solutions, and totally vendor lock-in. And in the last 20 years, there's not so much improvement herein. Now, what I did, I quit, and I was thinking to adopt all this new technology and build a bridge to the old world and the new world. This is what we did in Vanenburg, and we built what we call the Vanenburg Generative Apps Platform, where we, on top of Google, incorporate all technology with IoT and everything together, with big data, APIs, cloud native, code generating, no vendor lock-in, including this DevOps, security, machine learning, and built everything as a microservice. And built everything to what I called the business of the Internet of Business. And in the Internet of Business, we are able to adopt the old stuff and bring the technology on the front end for the new stuff. Now, what we did here, that means we respect the systems of record and built this platform in the Internet of Business. But I see three types of Internet. The Internet of Business with the Internet of Things and the Internet of People. And how can we combine this together? Now, Internet of Things, you should do it in late binding on the latest moment, bring this only together in the workflow solution. Now, that's what we did now. On this one, we built our Flow Create product, real focusing on the workflow, on the Internet of Things, and link all these things three together. 1 second before the transaction, you can take this stuff. And let me explain a little here. Now, what we see addressing the key need? We see more and more, even in India, a development shortage. It's hard to find good Java programmers, and we need hundreds of thousands of them. Faster time to market is needed. We see amazing emergence of no-code, low-code performing, productivity tooling, cloud native applications who make it very attractive, big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning. But what are the pain points? It is hard to understand the customer. Still today, it's unclear requirements. We cannot talk with the business owners. IT could not be aligned with the business. Now, that's what I did for the last 20 years. Aligning IT with business and have an incorporate the business immediately in the front end. I will show you more things in IT. And therefore, in the past, we're missing timelines. There's no need to do it 10 times faster. And no code, low code cannot even fulfill this one because low code, no code is amazing, but it's hard to do the last mile. It's very good to win every proof of concept, but the last mile is still difficult and it's hard to understand, even with low code, no code, the requirements of the business. Performance, security, afterthoughts, what you do, and how to leverage best practice and how to empower my developers. Now, that's what we spent in the last 15 years. And we are able to increase the productivity of a Java programmer at least by 4 times and generate 80% of Java code. And the last mile can be done by the Java code. Scaling is no longer a problem. And especially even with our core resource in India, we have an attractive rate for hours in combination with India and the Netherlands for labor costs. And I like to avoid vendor lock-in totally. No vendor lock-in should be there. Now, how are we doing this one? First, let me share a little with you the functionality of low code and what means it. Now, Low code, no code, it means we see the power of Power Apps from Microsoft and AppSheet from Google. But the problem is those problems are amazing for simple applications for the citizen, for very simple apps, but you can't do the complex apps. And here we built what we call our Flow Create, our integration platform as an alternative. Later on, a little more. Then we've seen these low-code players like OutSystems, Mendix, amazing technology, Run My Process, Process Maker. But the last mile cannot be done here, and still you need a Java.NET programmer. And only a small part is doing here, and you have the biggest elements over here. Now, what we did with my 45 years of experience, we built a solution for these tools here with Rapid, an accelerator for advanced apps, and combine that with all the backend solutions. Now, how are we doing this one? We call it composing enterprise applications, combine it with data and AI. That means in my last century, when I built ERP, and I became one of the fathers of ERP, now, we built it on Unix, quite early bird. We built it before the internet on relational database, and everything was data-driven. Now, I quit, and I start again with metadata and with internet technology, and we have seen that instead of the ASCII terminal, the UI was in hand of the browser. The browser was connecting the dots, and the browser became extremely important to this. And here we built what we call end-to-end applications. BPM bring all those processes together and have them all together in an end-to-end environment. Above SAP, Oracle, Baan's product, PeopleSoft product, bring them all together and optimize them in your business processes. But BPM was very complicated. Now, and we called data became information. But now we moved a big step further with big data. And now we have seen the API is now in the hands of the REST API, where you see the consumerization of micro technology, and all those powerful stuff are available. And with big data, we are able to even bring information to knowledge and see the algorithms, etc., and link them even to all those applications. And we moved in the world of big data. But now again, we have seen a big step forward. And then we moved from even what we say the Docker type of elements. The containerization makes development of software 10 times or 50 times easier, especially with Kubernetes. And we see now data is becoming semantic data, and that's what we're doing with Rapid. With this Kubernetes stuff, we are able now to build intelligence for the knowledge worker, and we can follow and provide the knowledge worker with AI functionality. Now, that's what we're doing now. We generate microservices, adopting all those, say, legacy applications, and generate now immediately a dynamic workflow based on, with Kubernetes, on semantic data, a dynamic workflow based on machine learning AI. And 1 second before the transaction, I can integrate every sensor from IoT. And it means the app for the knowledge worker is included with all IoT components in a dynamic way for the job to be done. Now, and that is the most important elements what we see in the business. It's moving from the back-end solutions complicated to improve the job to be done. Peter Drucker mentioned already that the job to be done can be 2 times better. That means, is it the sensor, is it our common sense? It's not the sensor, but it's the knowledge worker with the wisdom who is driving it. Like autonomous cars, with Tesla, the latest moment is difficult. We have a steering wheel. See the same? This autonomous one, we can generate 80% of the source code immediately with the tools here, what we see in Rapid, but the latest moment can be done by hand, even for the knowledge worker in Java. Now, that means we have a studio where we acquire all business knowledge immediately and immediately prototype it. Before we start working coding, we talk already over the UIs, etc. This is what we do in the afternoon. And then you generate again and again and again, and you can finish it with your own source code. Now, this is a revolution to increase and build extremely complex solutions very, very fast. Now, and around this one, where the business analyst can do everything, we productize all the other elements. With CI/CD, with one single click, you have your pipeline scripts automatically included, multi-cloud, where you can run on every cloud, with your BigQuery, and everything is immediately the synchronization to the stuff and no vendor lock-in because everything is open in an open environment. Now, that brings me to a conclusion and show a little here in what we're doing. It means rapid. We are able in a very fast way, building it often 10 times faster applications, complex applications. We do it in a few weeks. And with Flow Create, we do this real, what we say, a real microservices on the latest mile and do it extremely rapidly and especially task-oriented workflows. And we build a tool there. Every document now can be a dynamic document with Google OCRs, etc. We take every document because the document is representing already the job to be done from the traditional systems. Now we can incorporate them and make them even as microservices together therein. Okay, coming here to a conclusion. If you need more, even you can follow him with Baswata. I let Yves the name here a little. And in your presentation, you can see it a little here, what we do. But coming to a conclusion therein, if you need more. Okay, let me stop sharing a little. What I like to share with you is what we did in our 45 years of experience. 3 times I burned my ships. I was one of the early birds doing intellectual property in India. It was already in the 80s. And we are extremely successful with my Indian people. We're going around the world. The core people joined me again in Cordys, where we built business processes end to end. I burned again my ships, and we are now in the front world, in the world where we say even where the workflow is now in the driver's seat to do this one. Now, I hope that I contribute with this one to your conference, especially to you guys who are real specialized in IT and bringing IT to business, because the core element is not understanding the IT. Because with IT, suppose that we have a company with $100 million revenue, there's maybe only 1.5 million IT and maybe 10 million EBITDA, and $90 million cost is there. Now, what we see, what Peter Drucker mentioned, the knowledge worker can increase 2 times the work to be done, and it means there's a lot of EBITDA available where IT is now incorporated with machine learning, etc., in everything we do in the knowledge worker. Thank you very much for hearing me. Maybe if I'm not sure if there is a question or so, I can answer it if there is time for it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jan Baan. And it was wonderful hearing you speak, and I hope we have more interactions in the future again. Thank you very much for your speech at the INFOCOM Calcutta 2023. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Okay. Have a good day. Enjoy it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.